So this is a question I get a lot, and it's about how do I get to travel for cheap or basically free sometimes? Well, I'm gonna show you the secret. Okay, maybe not that much of a secret, but it's something that a lot of people don't know. So here are my tips. Number one, Google Flights. So I buy actually all my tickets through Google Flights, and Google Flights is amazing because it gives you basically price points of when the best time to buy tickets. So for example, let's say we're going from Orlando to New York City, you can change what times and dates based off the price it is, and it will show you that. So maybe going from a certain date to a certain date might be a little bit expensive, but it will also show you that if you leave a day later or maybe a day earlier, you can save about $100. I mean, come on guys, you save $100 just from going a day later. So if your trip isn't exactly too strict, then I would say definitely do that. If you have a little bit more flexible plan, then definitely do that. And to me, I think if you're going to plan out a trip, make sure you kind of check out Google Flights first before having a date first, because that way you can have that flexibility. So going back to Orlando to New York, if you look at the flex price tag, you can see all of the different prices here. So from there, when you're looking at this, check out what days work best for you. If you leave just a couple of days later and save $100 or $200, then definitely do it. One really cool thing too is that it'll let you know that if you fly out from a certain airport that might not be too far from you, you can also save a couple $100. Oftentimes Orlando has 2 airports, and a lot of times mostly people use MCO, but there's another one that's pretty close that sometimes if you fly from that airport, you can shave off about $300. These things are really essential. Even for international trips, if we take Chicago to Tokyo, for example, the exact same thing happens. You can check out what times work best, what days work best, and the pricing from that pinpoint. So Google Flights, I highly suggest it, just because it gives you so many options and you can see when are the crucial price points to fly from. Point number 2 is miles. So basically what miles are, if you fly a certain amount of times, you collect these miles over time. And although the only problem with this is that you have to be with a specific airline, however, it's a really good option because you can use these miles to basically replace your price, and so that way you're not really spending any money and you're spending your miles. Again, absolutely phenomenal option, especially if you do fly from the same airline constantly. Tip number 3 is when you go. This is so important. To be honest, I think this is the most important when it comes to buying cheap plane tickets versus expensive ones. So for example, June and July, or peak summer times, and around Christmas time, so December and January, are really expensive when it comes to tickets. This is something a lot of people don't really think about, which I'm really surprised. So I found out that the best time to buy plane tickets is usually February, March, April, May, or September, October, and maybe November. These times are really important. Even then, I would say maybe slash off November. For obvious reasons, the summertime and around Christmas time are really expensive because that's when most people take vacation. Thus, airline taking advantage of this and jacking up the prices so they can make as much money. However, during off-season, there aren't many people traveling. Therefore, they jack the prices down in order to try and fill up all these empty seats they have. Thus, cheaper tickets. So if you can manage to make it out early spring or about early fall, then those are probably the best times to travel. So if you can travel during those times, plus amazing weather typically. Usually springtime might have some rainfall, but you're not stuck so much in the super hot or the super cold times of traveling. All right, so now that we're done with airlines, we're gonna be delving into places to stay. 4 is hostels. Hostels are absolutely wonderful. They are very cheap and such a good way to meet people. Hostels are basically, think of college dorms, but for traveling. And there are hostels all over the world. Hostels can range from $20 a night to maybe $60 a night. Compared to hotel prices, that's really good. And like I said, think of them as college dorms. So you do share rooms typically. You can find your personal rooms, but they will be more expensive. However, you do choose to share a room, it's really cool. So let's say you're going to Germany and you decide to do a hostel and you share a room. So you're staying with maybe people from France and people from South Korea and people from Australia. You get all these really cool, diverse group of people, and you're all in Germany together. And what's best to do? Let's explore Germany together, right? It just kind of gives you this nice time to share a new culture with these people you've never met before all over the world experiencing something new together. So Airbnbs are also great too. Airbnbs are much cheaper than hotels. Basically, someone rents out their house or apartment for you to stay in. Sometimes the person might be there and sometimes the person might not be there. So for example, maybe they purposely bought an apartment complex just for Airbnb, or maybe they're just in an apartment and they stay in a whole separate room. So for example, I stayed in an Airbnb in Toronto and the guy was absolutely amazing, and me and my friends stayed there and we got to use the kitchen, so we made a lot of food in order to save some money. We used the bathroom, you know, he had really nice clean towels set up for us, and he let us stay in his living room, and his like couch turned into a bed. So it was just a really nice experience because we got to use the kitchen, we got to use the bathroom. I mean, it just felt like home. And so Airbnbs provide this feeling and a sense of comfort there. I also did this in Tokyo too, where the person wasn't there and they rented out an apartment. It was me and 2 other friends, and there was 3 beds, so it was perfect for us because there were 3 of us. And the person wasn't there, but they provided instructions for us on what to do. So we basically had our own apartment in Tokyo. That was pretty awesome. Next is couchsurfing. So basically it's like Airbnb, but it's free, typically free. I think maybe a couple people might charge, but for the most part it's free. And I love couchsurfing. So couchsurfing may not be as nice as Airbnbs, although they can be. However, typically you might be on a couch. So it could be one person who might be a doctor, which has happened to me in Tokyo, or it could be an entire family. So it's really neat because a lot of these people offer their homes for free because they're interested in meeting other people and learning new things about other cultures and ideas. So it's kind of like a language cultural exchange. So in exchange for you coming there and providing some knowledge or information or just a social buddy from a different culture, they let you stay on their couch for free. And sometimes they have beds. That's also happened to me when I was in Kyoto. I got my own bed, so that was always pretty nice, in my own room. So that does happen. So it just really depends on the person, if you are going to be on a couch or an air mattress or on a bed. But these are such an amazing options just because it's free. And yeah, I mean, there are great options. If you are worried about couchsurfing or Airbnb, for example, you can check reviews beforehand. That's what I do suggest too. So a lot of times people might give them stars, you know, up to 5 stars, and you can read what people say about them just to give you a little bit more comfort, you know. And also people can get verified as well, so that also shows that these people are legit. So for the most part, you will never really have a bad experience, but if you are nervous about this kind of thing, you should really do your research and look up and compare people and see what makes you feel more comfortable. Another way to travel for cheap or free is to make friends. If you make friends from the local group or that community, so say we're going back to the couchsurfing example, I mean, if you're couchsurfing with a local, they know so much about their area, right? Which is also an important thing. So if you make friends with people from those areas, they can tell you what places to go, what places that's the best, that's for cheap, you know, when's the best time to go to certain events and things. Making friends can really help you save money because they know so much about that area. So make as many friends as you possibly can. That way you can get more knowledge on that area. And heck, maybe they'll also offer you a couch to sleep on. Plus, friendship is just amazing. Sharing experiences about all over the world and having a good time together, sharing great memories. I mean, these are things that I really value, and I'm sure anyone would really value. So there's no harm in making friends. Next tip is an obvious one, but do your research beforehand, because if you do, you can learn what places to go. So if you look up and do some Googling, Google is pretty awesome. There's a lot of information out there. Whether if it's restaurant suggestions or areas to stay in, do your research beforehand so you can know where to go and what places to check out. And lastly, make money while traveling. There are a lot of things you can do, whether if it's blogging or if you're going to be a travel agent, or a lot of companies sometimes, or countries and governments want people to come to their countries and they'll pay for free just so you can be some form of an ambassador. These things are great ways to travel for free, for one, and to also get paid. These are things I really heavily do suggest to do. If you are interested in learning more about how you can make money while traveling, let me know in the comment section below, and I'll definitely in the future make a video about that. Alright, so those are all of my tips, guys, and I hope and wish the best of you in all your travel endeavors. If you have any questions, again, post the comments below, and any other suggestions to let me know as well. best of luck in wherever you go and have fun, and I hope I will see you guys in Japan sometime. Take care.